this is this Python action. So I click on it, and you will see that I have already, of course, created the code. So if you click on the code, and then you click on Escape to enlarge the editor, it opens all the editor, and you can see the full code. So in my Python code, I have a first, I would say, important piece of information. It's about reordering the different columns. Because if you remember, in Retable, I have first name, last name, email, where in my Google Sheet, I have email, first name, last name. So I need to be sure that the data I'm going to import into Google are following the same order than the Google spreadsheet, of course. So here I have created another map, and I have input the order of the rows that I want. I want first to have the email, then I want to have the first name, then I want to have the last name. So email, first name, last name. Email, first name, last name. Okay? So you have to adapt it, of course, to your use case. Then I create the table from all the final array that I'm going to build. I sort all the columns that I've received from Retable, and finally I just create and get all the cell value, because I don't want the other one. I just want the cell value, and I create an array of cell value, and I put it in my transform data array. The input of this transform data function is of course the rows that I have prepared in the previous node, JSON Mapper to list node. This is the output of the JSON Mapper list node. Okay. Then to finalize the configuration of the Python action, you just need to create a variable to store the output. So here I create what I call a rows list. So it's my list of rows. So it's a type of object, and it is a single value. Now, because the output of the Python action or even the JavaScript action is a JSON object, I need to get the value of this JSON object and put it in an array. Because if you remember well in the documentation of Google, what he wants is not a JSON, it's an array of array. And my array here will be all the rows, of course. So I need to put this rows list result in an array. So for that, in input, you take the output of the Python code. The query is just result, because this is the key that you're going to receive, and I will show you later when I run the instance. So you take the result and you put it in a new object that will finally be your array of array. So if I click on it, it's again another object, single value, and I just name it formatted rows. So let's run our process to see where we are now. And we have a look at the output of the Python nodes, and we have a look then at the output of my JSON Mapper node. Okay, so let's click on this one. So remember that in input to the Python code, we put the rows, and the output is the rows list. If we have a look at it, as I told you, we get the output is a JSON with the one key only, which is called result. And my result contains, you see, my array of array. So what I want to do, and this what I'm doing in this JSON Mapper node, what I want to do is to just get the result and store it in a new variable that I have called formatted rows. And this is what you have here. And finally, we have our array of array, and the order is good. We want to have the email, first name, last name, and everything is ready now to be able to push it and post it to Google Sheet. So now go back to the editor mode. Okay, and the last action is to make a API call to Google Sheet. So you just put call API action on the Canva, and you have to configure it. So I will show you how I have configured this call API action. Click on it. So again, you have to select the credential that you need to then make the API call to the Google Sheet. So I have already created my Google Sheet API, and I will show you how to do it. So I click on credential, Google Sheet API. It's a REST API. So this is the information in my Google Sheet credentials. So I won't go in details on how to configure an OAuth authentication, because I have already done a video about it, and I can put the link in the description. Now that you have your credential ready, you have to configure the request. So here it's a post request that you have to do to post your value into Google Sheet. If you look at here, this is a post request you have to do to the append method of Google Sheet. The endpoint here is given in the documentation of Google. It's here, it's V4, spreadsheet, and so on. So you copy it and you paste it in Procesio. And you have to change the spreadsheet ID with the ID that is given in your spreadsheet URL here. And you have to put the range here. And as I mentioned before, make it simple. And for the range, just put A1. And then you call the append method. The other option are value input option. So let's have a look at what does it mean. Value input option. Value input option. Okay, let's open the documentation for this one. And you have different options for this. And what I've chosen is the user entered option, because what it means that it will be entered in your table as if you do it manually. So for example, if you put the numbers, it will understand it is a numbers. You put a string, it will understand it is a string, and so on and so forth. And then the insert data option parameters, you select insert rows, and the last parameters here, it's include value response. If you want, when you send the request to the Google API, if you want the API to send you back the value that has been added, you can say true, but here I don't need it, so I just put false. Okay, and that's finished. If you do that, you are good for the endpoint. And note that you can have a look at the body, and you will see the body is very simple because we have already prepared our array of array. So it is just a simple JSON, and if you remember, there is one major dimension parameters that is required, but it's not even mandatory, because if you put nothing, it will be rows by default. And then it's just the values, and the values that we want to post is our formatted rows variable that we get from the previous node. And that's finished. Now that we have configured everything, let's run the process and see if everything is running smoothly. So I click on run, I check, and you see everything is successful. So now let's have a look at our Google Sheet table. And yes, we have 2 new lines that has been added that's come from our Retable table. So the order is still good: email, first name, last name. So everything is working fine. So if you have any question, let me know in the comment, and I will be happy to help you and answer. Thanks. Have a good day. So this video is finished. I hope that it is helpful for you. So this video is finished. So I hope it gives you the keys to be able to. So this video is finished, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I wish you a good day. Bye.